Welcome back. Well, as a meteorologist, one of the most common questions I'm asked by farmers is that whether or not climate change is real and whether it will have an effect on farming. The answer is that climate has always had an effect on farming. Just so we know what we're talking about and on the same page, weather is defined as the state of the atmosphere on a day-to-day basis, whereas climate is defined as the prevailing weather conditions over a longer period of time, decades or even centuries. As I mentioned, climate has always had an effect on agriculture over a period of decades or even longer. As an Air Force meteorologist stationed at the North American Air Defense Command, better known as NORAD, we would study the effects of climate and solar activity and learn that both were very cyclical, almost like clockwork. Approximately every 20 to 22 years, there's a maximum of solar activity on the sun, which is correlated directly to major droughts on our planet. And if you've been farming a while, you can remember back in the day when your grandfather would tell you about the droughts or severe winters. That's why we have recorded history of the Dust Bowl of the 1930s or the blizzard of '77. Yes, man is having an impact on our climate, and we do need to be a better steward of our planet. But we're also learning that Mother Nature has an amazing ability to heal herself and compensate. Now, there's a new study from researchers by Cornell University and Washington State University that suggests that we're going to be dealing with a different set of weather variables over the next few years. But this study was focused entirely around the Yakima River Basin in Washington State, where there's a complex combination of snow reservoirs, water rights that control the available irrigation water. Here in New York and Pennsylvania, we have a different set of variables, predominantly set around three factors: number of rainy days, the rainfall totals, and the amounts of sunshine. For example, last year we had way too much rain and not enough drying. This summer we managed to reach perfect balance of rainy days and sunshine, which allowed many farmers to have 3 and even 4 cuttings of hay. It's all cyclical, has been, and will remain so, and that's the real problem. Farmers have been taking it on the chin for decades because politicians don't realize all the elements of the farming equation. There are even some citified politicians that are proponents of reducing the amounts of subsidies to farmers, stating that in these days of science and modernization, we don't need farmers anymore. We have supermarkets where we can get all the groceries we need. Now, you can't make craziness like that up. But even those who are not dumb enough to believe such nonsense just don't get it that farming is challenging, demanding, and at the mercy of the elements and the idiots who determine milk prices and price of goods. And that's on a good year. When you factor in dumping milk and plowing vegetables under, the revenue volatility becomes unbearable. We all know that water shortages and high temperatures can drive down crop yields, and the choice to use more drought-tolerant crop varieties as an offset can add to costs. The American farmer has figured that out. In other words, it's all cyclical, and climate forecasting is yet to be perfected. We don't know what Mother Nature will be doing 10 to 15 days from now, let alone 10 to 15 years from now. That means we need to focus on the business at hand of setting up infrastructure for the agricultural community that will weather the storms of life. With unexpected decreases in production and revenues this past season due to the coronavirus, climate and weather has not been the only factor. It's been the idiots running the show.